Welcome to our Q4 2018. This is the first week of our Brave program and week 40 for the year. Each week, we're going to be interviewing a superstar from our group so that you can get to know each other a little bit better, and also to help you understand the concept of the accountability sheet and how the questions work. Tonight, I have a very special treat for you, and I'm so excited to introduce to you Miss Taryn Meck.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here. Okay, so we're just going to ask you a couple of questions, and at the end, feel free to add anything. So the first question we have is, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a mom of 3 and a wife and a realtor. And I also lead worship at my church, so I have many roles. I stay pretty busy.
Oh, good deal. Taryn, how long have you been in real estate?
I actually got my license April 12th, so right about 6 months.
Good deal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so can you give us an example of what a typical day is like for you?
A typical day, I'm such a list person, so I usually kind of at night do a brain dump for the following day and just sort of write out what things I need to do for each pending deal or prospecting that I'm working on. So I start out with a list of things that I can do from home and do them from home, and then I kind of go out for the day, usually like later morning, and kind of go to the office to work on some other things that I might need their resources for, or I really like to network at the local coffee shop and some of the other little restaurants in my town that I get to know the people there. So that's kind of what my day looks like. And then, of course, showings are sometimes in the evenings and weekends and all that. So
now, how do you manage other businesses too, right? You have multiple things. And do you find that it's hard to work real estate around that, or are you pretty free to do whatever?
So our other business is a pizzeria, and at this point we're fully staffed and have a really great management team that allows both my husband and I to kind of be home for most of the time. And that's sort of why I got into real estate, because I had so much flexibility in my schedule. And I thought it would be wasteful not to take advantage of that. And I've always wanted to pursue it. So it was the perfect time. But no, I think we're well staffed. So I only go in like on a Friday to help out when it's really busy. And I love that time, sort of getting to be face to face with our customers and who have now become my real estate clients as well. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was wondering, when you sell a house, do they always get a pizza?
Everyone's always asking me that. They're like, I guess there were like some sign riders that said like free pizza or something, like people had made them. And everyone's always trying to get me to do that. I'm like, I don't think people care about a $10 pizza, So I don't know, but maybe they would.
Yeah. Well, so part of what I wanted to do with some additional questions, and this is for those of you in the group, that this is our first week working on the accountability sheet, and actually, Taryn, I know you've said some things in the group on it, but I'm just going to go through this, and this is going to help you guys also learn how the accountability sheet works and what you're looking for. So, Taryn, what were your victories last week?
I'm going to pull up my sheet if that's okay.
Yeah, you actually already answered this. So yeah, that's totally fair.
I'm going to pull up my sheet. So, okay, so you can, all right, here, I'm ready. So my victories last week, for one, I secured a for sale by owner listing, another one. It tends to be my, I guess, the bread and butter of my business right now.
Right.
It's kind of for sale by owners. So I got another one, and it was actually very difficult to even set an appointment with this particular woman. So I was really proud about that.
Mm-hmm.
Are these also personal victories or just business?
Well, it's your victory. Your victories are your victories. So.
So little side thing here. I drove out of state all by myself for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
Celebrate the small wins, right?
Yep.
And then I I just went live on my newest listing on Friday. Yeah. So it was a good week and I got a lot accomplished. So.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say? I know you mentioned on the for sale by owner you said you kind of were working on it and she switched. What do you think was that moment where she switched, where you got her? Like, is there something she said or what led to that?
I think really, I try to be extremely relational when I talk to for sale by owners. I'm not like, I don't call them and say, I want to list your house. Mm-hmm. I call them and offer value. So I'll usually suggest what they can do to sell it on their own. Quite honestly, knowing that they're not going to sell it on their own. And
you can list with me.
I offer value tips.
Yeah.
And then if they say, well, what are you getting out of this? I'm just like, hey, I just ask that you think about me when you're ready to list it. You know, if it doesn't work out, that you just consider me. And so that has worked for me about, this is my fifth listing for sale by owner in 6 months. So
wow,
it's going pretty well, I think, for that. So the moment I think with this particular client, if you're looking for like the verbiage, basically she was talking about her numbers and her, net takeaway and everything.
Right.
And I just said, if I can make the numbers work for you, would you be willing to meet with me? And so she said, yeah, sure. Yeah. So not everybody is about the numbers and not everybody is really interested in a relationship with you either, so this particular person was a little more difficult to talk to and didn't open up as much. But when I just said flat out, if I can make the numbers work, are you willing to meet? She was like, yeah, let's do it. So great. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So hitting the numbers, and that opened up the door. That's something too that it's interesting what you talked about there, because one about a lot of people don't necessarily care about the relationship side of it. It's funny how there's all kinds of different clients, and some are going to care and some are going to not. So it's since you've done so many for sale by owners, would it be fair to say that you almost can't say this is a cookie cutter? Like what might work for this for sale by owner may not work for that one, and vice versa. Yeah. So good deal. And it's about identifying that as quickly as possible as what their needs are. I found that too, because some of the for sale by owners that have that real good, kind of get it done attitude. Those are awesome, because sometimes it's like, stop playing games. I'm just coming to list it. And they're like, okay.
Let me just tell you the numbers. Let's do this thing. Yeah, exactly.
So what were your, no, I think that you were telling, that was on your challenges, wasn't it? Didn't I ask you that?
No, that was my victories. We didn't get to the challenges yet.
Okay. I'm moving smooth. Okay. So what were your challenges last week?
Actually, I had to kind of put it down like this, because as the for sale by owner was my victory, it was also one of my challenges. Specifically because she kind of stonewalled me with the commission. She suggested a variable rate commission being higher to start, which was kind of different. My broker was like, oh, it's usually lower to start and then it gets higher. I didn't know much about it. So
right. No, your broker was saying on a variable commission, if it gets lower, then the commission goes higher because you have a minimum. Is that what he was saying?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but he was saying, like, the longer it's on the market, the higher the commission is. Like, if you sold it in a month, you'd have a lower commission than if you sold it in 2 months. I don't understand why that would be incentivizing to anybody, but that's what she had mentioned, the opposite though. So she wanted to, if it sold in a month, then she would pay me a higher commission. If it sold after the first month, it would be lower. And I wasn't comfortable with the number that she gave me.
Well, the golden thing that your broker is giving you there is true. Most people, when they think of a variable, that is how a seller is going to think. What your broker is doing there is he's turning it around on them, saying, "Oh no, it usually goes up," and so the concept is good in the sense that it's a good thing there. I mean, I'm just saying that's good how he said that, because it's just a lot of times when somebody says something like that, when you kind of look at them like, going down. What are you talking about? They just think,
Yeah.
oh yeah, oh I know what I'm talking about. So that actually is a very valuable nugget that your broker gave you there, honestly.
Oh,
So if somebody
cool.
talks about variable listings, be like, oh, well, I mean, you want to raise it if it doesn't sell in 3 months, or if we have to lower the price, raise the commission, if that's really what you guys want to do,
Yeah.
and then they just like, what, so that's
Oh,
no, that's good.
yeah.
He's giving you gold there.
Yeah,
Now
that helped, I'm sure.
no,
Yeah.
excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
And,
Well, so after that, I told her I wasn't comfortable with it.
mhm.
And she's like, all right, I want to do a flat fee commission. And I was like, she said, you can call me by the end of the day and let me know. Like, she put me on the spot and gave me time.
Yeah.
And I called her back and said, I would love to work with you, but I, this is my minimum here. And, I told her, and she waited. She let me hang for like 45 seconds on the phone and was like, okay, let's do it. So
good.
I'm actually reading right now, Never Split the Difference by, his last name's Boss. I don't remember the first name. But it's like an FBI hostage negotiator teaching you about negotiating and how to do it. Mm-hmm. And I had to be willing to lose the deal, but also defend my commission. So in order to defend my commission, I had to be willing to lose it.
Even though they don't necessarily, and this is especially true for sell by owners, because they're a whole new ball game. It's hard to understand it, but they respect you when you value yourself enough not to do. And just like, no matter what they say, that's, and you know what, when I have people ask a question like, hey, how should I pick a good real estate agent? I'm like, well, ask and reduce their commission. If they say, yeah, that's not the one for you.
Oh, wow.
Like, I mean, you want, when you're in the town, you're like, hey, I want to buy a house, but if I do, will you cut your commission in half? Oh, sure, I'll do that. Okay, thanks. You're probably not going to work for me. When you get a hold of that person's like, no way, I'm awesome in this town, and I work for every penny I have. That's the one you want.
Wow, that's a good point.
Yeah. Okay, so what are your personal goals for this week?
Personal goals, I need to catch up on some housework. It's so easy to get behind when you're, working all day and doing showings in the evening and some on the weekends. And so just catching up on things around the house, and then kind of setting aside some time to spend with God, seeking him and his will in my life, and praying and stuff like that. So I think it's really easy to kind of forget about, or just set aside the things that are important to you when you're busy. But I'm also like really into yoga, and that helps me to unwind after a stressful day working, or, putting out the fires, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your business goals for this week?
Business goals, I would like to get one more deal under contract. So either one of my listings or one of my buyers to be under contract. Okay. And I want to finish reading Never Split the Difference, that book I was just referencing, because it's been so valuable. Even in just obviously in my business, but also in my life with my kids, like, you don't realize how much you negotiate with children until they're like, I need this, and then you kind of have to. Those skills help. They really do.
Yeah, that's true. Like with kids, because when they want something, they no. Yeah, that's a good point. How many times the kids get told no, and that means nothing to them? Like, will you sell your house with me? No. And a lot of agents like, okay, but have that heart of that's even scriptural, anyways. Have the heart like a child. I think me and you talked about this before. Truths work whether you believe them or not. They just work because they work. And have faith like a child. You wanna get the deals, knock on the doors. Don't take no for an answer. No just means ask again.
And in the book he talks about no is kind of a way to protect yourself. So it's not often that they really want to say no. It's that they're trying to guard themselves from something. So that just means you haven't established the trust yet. So
that's a really good phrase that you say there, because our goal then is to try to establish trust as quickly as possible. The faster you are doing that, then you're ready to go. And once you there was a gentleman that was talking. They were talking about their ratios on prospecting to how many they had, and so if it takes you 200 doors to get a deal, you probably need to work on getting your trust and see if you can get that down to 100 a deal or something.
Yeah.
That's powerful what you said there.
Yeah. I hope it helps.
Yeah, it did. I got lots of good stuff here. Okay, so Taryn, so obviously the whole group, everybody's here to support you. Anything we can do to help you reach your goals, any kind of accountability you want to shout out on a certain day, or?
I'm not even quite sure how to phrase this for you, but I would love some accountability in how I handle leads that I get online. So I've been getting a lot of leads where they message me and they want to see a house yesterday, tomorrow at 5, and I find there's not always time to meet them in the office. And I think it's kind of potentially dangerous.
Right.
So this is maybe not, I don't know if it's a place for accountability, maybe something that you could address at some point, just like a protocol or something, because
buyer pre-qualification script. Yeah, it'd be so then I'll jot this down as something we can go over. So it would be a online lead buyer pre-qualification script.
Yeah, and then also how do I deal with literally someone calling me and then 5 seconds later calling a different agent if I don't answer? So that feeling of I have to be the person to talk to them first, and I have to be able to get them in first. There's that sense of urgency that I think is, because when you're paying $30 a lead, or I'm paying, that's cheap.
I'm glad you're saying what you're saying. Everybody that watches this video needs to turn it up and hear what she's about to say. Go ahead. You got to say it.
When you're paying that money, and $30 is pretty cheap compared to the other Zillow leads. Mine are cheap, but when you're doing that, and they call you and they want to see it right away, you kind of panic and you're like, oh, I have to call them. I have to be the first one to talk to them. I don't want to lose that money. And I've actually had, I just had someone stand me up last week. I left West Virginia to drive home to Pennsylvania.
Oh my gosh.
I had scheduled it days in advance, and they didn't show up at the showing.
Wow.
So it's you have to build, again, that trust. You have to build that relationship, but it's so hard to do it when you get 30 seconds from a Zillow lead.
Right. There is some truth. I mean, there's hard facts that when a lead comes in online, if you talk to them within the first 5 minutes, you instantly have brand recognition and trust. Every second after 5 minutes, it plummets. Wow. Even to the point that, statistically speaking, if you're calling somebody 15 minutes after,
wow.
And that's true. But here's what I wanted to point out. So this is good that you said that, because I'm a very big one of the things that I don't like when people talk to new real estate agents is that they're like, go and pay all this money and get all these leads. And they do. Let's say an agent has $10,000 and like, oh, I spent $10,000 on leads, and they come in and they have no clue what to do with it.
Yeah.
So
that is good. Yeah.
Right. And what's good is that when you're working for sell by owners, you're working low hanging fruit, free leads is what they are.
Right.
So I'm a big advocate in honing your skill on that, which sounds like you've already done.
I'm working on it. I'm still a baby in this industry, but
but you have the simple story about the lady that told you no. She told you no, you built a relationship with her, she asked you to reduce your commission, you didn't reduce your commission, and you're getting a deal. That's everything rolled into that one. It's all just that one again and again and again of doing that. So that's what I meant in the sense of knowing that. But anyways, and I'll go over that with online leads as well. As far as accountability, it'd probably be an issue of how many, what is your average call time to reach your online leads is what you need accountability with. How many online, or like this. So each week, what you may want to ask, I got 40 online leads. How many of those did you call within the first 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And when you're paying for it, you need that to be, as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And I can give you some stuff. Okay, so hopefully I don't know how long we've been going. It's supposed to be 10 minutes. It's so hard because you love real estate, you love what you do. Anyways, I want to thank you so much, Taryn, for coming on and sharing with us about your accountability and letting us know about you. Everybody, give Taryn a shout out in the group, and we're all in this together for quarter 4. This is a team effort. Maybe you're in the group and you've never sold a house. That's fine. We're here to support you. Maybe you're in the group and you don't have a goal of doing 40 houses a year. We're here your goals are your goals. When you fill the sheet out, it's your goals. And, I just want to encourage you guys to learn from each other, and let's grow together, and we're going to make 2019 amazing. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Again, thank you, Taryn.
So much,